Hello everyone and welcome back to the podcast. My name is Darren Connell and this is Straight White Whale. This is episode 26, so thank you very much for joining us again. How you doing, Paul?
I'm doing great, mate. I'm doing absolutely fantastic.
See, before we get into it, I'm going to give a shout out to the sponsors. I feel a wee bit windy right now because I've drank half a gallon of sparkling water. So let me get into the sponsors. This week we're sponsored by Argue & Co. They've been kind enough to sponsor the podcast for a month, so that's 4 episodes. Very much appreciated. Argue & Co. are a legal firm that are based in Glasgow, and they specialise in employment law and personal injury. So the difference between them and the rest of the kind of legal firms is it's a no-win, no-fee basis, and see if they take you on, they don't take massive cuts either. So they won't take 20% because that's what everybody else does. They'll take a fee off you, obviously, but it's not going to be, over the top crazy prices. So, like I said before, I don't get people that I don't know to sponsor my podcast. I know Alan, he's a good guy, it's a good company, and they're trying to do good things. So if you need help regarding those circumstances, get in touch. But if you just need a lawyer in general, then phone him, and if he can help you, he'll help you, and if he can't, he will point you in the right direction. So thank you very much, Argue & Co. That's that finished. Thank fuck.
Feel dirty.
Aye.
Being the sponsors.
Then the sponsors with a trackie on, man. Like a fucking filth bag.
Here, mate, you ever been stabbed? Go to Argue & Co.
No, see, the thing is, right, what happens if I fucking stab myself, but I'll get a claim.
Criminal compensation. Imagine that. That'd be the biggest scam ever.
Aye, that'd be like the guy in the fucking kayak that went missing for 16 years and then he turned up with a tan. Remember that guy?
No. Nope.
Him and his wife went missing, they faked their death.
Did they?
He says they drowned in a kayak. It was for an insurance scam.
Brilliant, mate.
His sons and all that thought he died.
Brilliant.
Then he just turned up. He walked into a police station one day with a full-blown tan.
Do you want to hear the best scam that I've ever witnessed? This is a real life scam, and I get caught, and I'll tell you how you get caught in hilarious fashion. My mate's grandpa had an OEP season ticket at Celtic Park, and he passed away, and they just kept buying it.
Oh my God.
For him when he was an adult. But then he got to like 100, and they were like looking for him to do like a shout out on the big screen. And obviously the guys fucking did, so it was they fun a fucking 25-year-old guy in the seat of somebody that was supposed to be 100, and they got his OEP season ticket taken off him.
Did they get fined or anything?
Nah, they just took a ticket off him.
Aye.
Just paid the difference, I think.
What a fucking belter of a scam though.
Well, see, before, when was the last time you were at Parkhead? Parkers. Sorry, mate.
I can't even remember.
They've got a traffic light system now at the turnstiles. See, because it's all automated, you just scan your barcode. You used to just scan it and the barcode, it would just let you through the turnstiles. Now they've got like a traffic light thing. So if it's a concession, student, child or OEP, it goes like amber. And if it's normal, it's like green. So somebody sits and watches you come through the turnstile to stop that from happening.
Wow.
Because why would you know? See, if you could get a kid's season ticket and go as an adult, it's like 50 quid versus 650 quid.
Aye.
Of course you're going to fucking do it.
But then you're taking funds out the RA. That's you're taking full-blown funds out the provisional IRA. No, I'm not fucking getting a student ticket. No chance.
Brilliant.
So how have you been, mate, since I last seen you? It's been a week. A lot of people are always asking. We'll need to sort out dates on the Sunday, mate, because people kind of it's like they're coming off a drug towards the end of the week. Where's the podcast? Where's the podcast?
I have a wee wank when I'm listening to your podcast. No, I've genuinely had a great week, mate. I think I'm back in the swing of things after holiday. But I'm feeling good.
Good.
How about you, mate? How you been?
I feel amazing, mate. Very productive. A lot has happened since I last came in here. I also walked it here. I've noted down how many steps. 14,641 steps.
Today?
Aye.
Fuck's sake, man.
How many miles is that?
Depends on the size of your steps. Which is true. I'm not taking the piss, mate.
That's true.
14,000 baby steps could be like, quarter mile.
Aye, but I was fucked when I came into the podcast, moved into my flat. That's me finally in my flat.
And announced the tour.
And I've announced the tour, eh?
That was Friday, wasn't it?
Yes. Ticket sales are going really well, by the way. I need to give you a head up and say that, I mean, as always, Glasgow's always the first to go. But I think from what I've heard, Glasgow's going to sell out first. So if anybody wants to come to the Oranmore, I would say get tickets now. But then if you can't make it, East Kilbride's just up the road. So if Paul would be kind enough, I could send you the poster and maybe pop it up on the screen.
100%, mate.
For
put a wee link in the show notes,
yes,
as they say.
So I'm looking forward to it. That's why I was walking today. I'm going to get gig fit mentally and physically. And aye, I'm happy. Name your stealth wanks, mate.
What?
Fucking brilliant, man.
You off them?
I mean, I'm not, because last week I was saying I do stealth wanks in the house because I live with my man, my dad.
So since you've moved into the flat,
aye.
that ability, can you sneak back for a stealth wank?
Well, I'm still doing stealth wanks, but they're just in Pollock Park.
Right, okay. Brilliant.
A different type of stealth.
Absolutely. A different type of punishment as well. Not just shame, but jail if you get caught wanking in Pollock Park.
Also, I've realised that I've probably I've got a problem. I've got problems.
Okay.
Not illegal problems, obviously. I feel like I need to constantly say that.
Clarify your position there, aye, 100%, mate.
I don't have internet in the flat yet,
right.
So I can't watch porn.
You need it on your phone?
It's not coming up.
You got a child block on your phone or something?
I put a block on my phone, mate, and I don't know how to fix it. Unless I've got Wi-Fi, it works.
Right, aye, that'll be your provider. It's doing that then, like your mobile provider. But have you sorted out Wi-Fi yet?
It's coming in a couple of days, so I've been genuinely wanking over the past.
Your imagination?
Yep.
How's that?
Come with me and you'll see a world of pure imagination.
Imagine that Willy Wonka in the wee boat. You just go into the tunnel and it's just always sexually explodes. The wind's like that.
Genuinely wanking near the catalogue again. It's just fucking weird. It's weird.
No, mate. I had a stash of Littlewoods catalogues when I was a wee guy, man. That was porn to me when I was when I was a young teenager.
If you've got the patience, you can find stuff on YouTube, TikTok, Twitter.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Somebody doing a podcast in here was like, if you have a porn block on, just go to Twitter.
Aye.
And there's just porn everywhere.
Yeah.
So.
Horrific. But that's weird to see when you're on Twitter having a wank. And I'm like, I really hope I don't accidentally retweet this. You know what I mean?
Have you ever seen an old guy that doesn't realise that his followers can see his likes and retweets, man? And you're like, mate, you're a dirty bastard.
Or even their tweets. I've seen a guy oh my god, BB, you're so fucking gorgeous. I would love to take you out for a steak supper. And you're like, everybody, a steak supper? Never heard it called that, but everybody can see your fucking tweets. Yeah, a steak supper.
I know. What the fuck? Yeah, mad deviant.
Are you going to a chippy? Get a steak supper? No.
Just get a steak and fire it into the deep fat fryer. I wonder if that'd be good.
Oh, mate.
I think that'd be banging, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Chip steak? What's that? Is that no?
Chipstick?
Is that no a steak wrapped in butter stuck in the deep fat fryer?
I don't know. I've been eating very healthy recently. So there'll be no chips in my house, in my flat.
Just the one on your shoulder?
Aye.
Sorry, mate. How's it been?
It's been amazing.
Since Sunday?
having cups of tea, and my dad's no questioning my mental health. So, call back to the last podcast. So, battering fuck out of cups of tea, and just to have a space to work and, you know, write and stuff has just been amazing, mate.
What floor are you on?
Second.
Can walk about in the buff then.
Aye.
Brilliant.
Also do weird things like walk about barefoot.
Why is that weird?
When I'm living with somebody, I would never do that.
How come?
Don't know.
I walk about barefoot all the time. I mean, it does get a bit... Sometimes you do look at your feet and it looks like you've been fucking running about outside, but
Aye.
pretty fucking... Aye, it's pretty disgusting, isn't it? Flip-flops all the way. But do you know what I like about moving into a flat? See, like that, when you've moved everything in, you put everything away and you sit down and you're just sort of like taking in the space.
Uh-huh.
You're just like, you're alone, you know what I mean? And you're like, I like this.
Yeah.
Rather than like when you live with people and you're like worried about, oh, who's this and
I know.
blah, blah, blah. Like, what's going on here? And you get a wee minute to just be like calm in your own domain.
It was amazing. Obviously, I love my mum and my dad and my family, and they've been very kind to help me through lockdown. That was over 2 years, probably 2 years and a bit. But what a feeling to just get your own space to write and stuff, because it's like, you know, they mean well, but it's like, is the tour announced yet? And you're like, you know, I announced it on Friday. I've been telling you every single day for the last 9 months that I'm going to announce it. I bet it's Kevin Bridges going to be there. You're like, no, Kevin doesn't do the wee gigs anymore. You know that? All right. How no? You're like, right, I need a flat, man. Fuck this.
I need a needle.
Aye.
Get me out of here.
Why don't you, like, and see that Morecambe and Wise sketch? See that one? Why don't you do that? And you're like, you can't do people's sketches. My ma said that to me once. See that Little Britain one? The one he does that yellow? Do that. I'm like, oh.
Can he? How shite is unsolicited advice?
Oh, mate. Especially that neighbour, you know, that guy that was asking me if I was fat, talking about my weight. He says random things like, say there's 100 people in the room, right? You're doing stand-up, right? Say it's a random night in Livingston, Wednesday night or something. Who knows? How you going to make me laugh? Know the 99 people that are in the venue. How you going to make me laugh? I'm like, mate, you're not even going to be there, so shut the fuck up. You fucking prick.
Aye, pure be funny.
Oh, mate, I thought you were a comedian.
I hate that shit,
Like,
mate.
I'm putting rubbish in my bin, you fucking rat fuck.
Hope he listens to this, man. That's brilliant.
Nothing really's been happening. I went for a sauna. It was pretty shite. £5 a sauna. And it was an electric sauna.
Right. What?
An electric sauna with fake stones in it. And it says on the wall, do not put fake water over the stones. And some shit.
Fake water?
Don't put water over the fake stones.
Right, because they're electric.
Aye.
Right. Did somebody do it?
Aye.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Fucking mental,
And
man.
what happened?
It's broke a fucking sauna.
An electric sauna, does it make a noise?
Aye.
Does it like hum like a fridge?
Aye.
Oh, for fuck's sake, man.
Aye, so anytime, you know, you're more than welcome to come up to the flat, mate. Just sit and have fucking pancakes or anything, mate. We can do anything.
Steak supper? No, any chips. Fuck.
Please, man, moan up.
Did you...
Moan up to the flat, man.
Do you want me to bleep out where you walked for? Is that what you're staying?
Aye.
Aye, I'll bleep that out, right?
How well did I say?
Shawlands.
That's fuck it. It's cool.
Just in case some fucking mad weirdo starts kicking about Shawlands Cross, waiting for...
Fuck, mate, it's...
I actually had somebody do an interesting thing. After the podcast last week when you left, I had your... Don't know if it was the next day or what, I didn't leave you, I think I had somebody else coming in. But it was either directly after you left, but anyway, doesn't matter. The thing was on the screen, the logo's on the screen, and the person, no misgender them, came in and sat down and turned around and went, oh, that's Bobby for Scott Squad, isn't it? And I was like, aye, Darren Connell. And she did like a wee, like a wee gasp.
No way.
She was like, does he record in here? I was like, aye. And she was like, that's amazing. That's amazing.
There we go then.
I was like, it's kind of shite actually, man.
What?
He's a bit of a dick. No, not at all. I was like, he's a pleasure to work with. And she said to me, oh, because she's doing a podcast. Oh, just gendered her, fuck's sake. No woke. She's like, she's like, I'm going to go on Canva and do my logo. And she was like, it's amazing what you can do in Canva. I was like, but you won't get something like that. Like, that's a professional job, that logo. It's a belter, mate.
Pierce James.
Love it.
My Irish Prince.
But you get a gasp.
There we go. You can tell me the person's name when the podcast is finished.
Mm-hmm. I think she'll have to wee stain on the couch as well.
That's fucking terrible, man. That's terrible, man. You need to.
You love it. You're loving it.
What's the Instagram handle? No, it's much better than living in Springburn. It's just cunts fucking shouting at me for vans.
What, in Springburn?
Aye. Yeah, Officer Karen. Just for a van. I'm like, aye, mate. Officer Karen.
Do you think you'll ever go back? Hey, Bobby?
Do you think I would do Scott Squad again if I get offered?
Uh-huh.
It really depends. It depends. I'm not saying no straight away, but I would have to have a conversation about it. How's the script? Where's the story going? What's the deal?
Mm-hmm.
Do
you keep up with it?
Aye.
Do you watch it?
I keep up with most things, Scottish stuff and things that I'm in. I'll always listen to this podcast when it's up. When you release it, I'll listen to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know.
I can understand watching something when you're in it, like looking at your performances, how did that, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, plus you're seeing your colleagues as well, like people that
supporting them.
Normally don't see. I look handsome as fuck today, by the way.
You like them, mate?
Yeah, very bright, pinky beetroot skin. That's the freshness of a walk. Oh my God, man, I'm going to see 2-3 months, I'm going to be a shagger again.
Are you getting hard for yourself on the screen there, mate? That's the nay porn.
I'm coming back, man.
I'm back, baby.
I'm making a comeback.
Tell me about your imagination wanks then. Have they been difficult? Because when I stopped watching porn, it took me a wee while to acclimatise to get back to try to sort of find the sort of like your imagination and it actually being something that you enjoy.
I'll be, in all honesty, I've enjoyed the break, mate. Porn, I never realised that I'm not saying I'm on the phone looking at porn all the time, but social media, porn, podcast stuff, emails, WhatsApp, you're never off your fucking phone.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like removing quite a lot of stuff that I can't view, like Amazon, Netflix, porn. It's just removed this like migraine. So it feels good. But, mate, like I said, I had a wank in the jungle, like, to nothing. I wanked to a tree, mate, in Peru. So,
you're all right. I'm all right.
An imagination wank. I mean, literally, I was just I wasn't even wanking to anything, mate. I just had a wank. Just lying, staring at the ceiling, like, just wanking. Like,
what a fucking serial killer.
Aye.
Just staring into the abyss.
Flaccid, pathetic wank. Neatly folded into a baby wipe, gently placed into the bin, and then I go for my 60-mile walk. So I don't call it again. But we'll have a wee look through the notes here and let's get into it. But it's amazing. 26 episodes we've been doing this for, and 25 of them I've always spoke about me gasping for a flat, and I've finally done it.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking brilliant.
Aye, mate. Buzzing.
Done a washing last night, mate. Used the washing machine for the first time in years. I missed washings. I like doing a washing. Find it quite peaceful.
Do you?
Aye.
Right. Do you think that novelty will wear quick?
Aye, it'll be 2 days or something.
You just have a pile of fucking dirty clays.
Aye.
But you get that. You love doing the dishes. You're like, do you know, if you had that wee deluded, I'm going to keep this place spotless. This place has got to be fucking spotless.
Aye. It's fucking scary, I know, man, because see, before I lived with my man, my dad, I had a flatmate. I've never had a flat to myself ever.
Oh, have you never stayed yourself?
Never. So it was my man, my dad, a flatmate, a ex-girlfriend, and then it was my man, my dad again, and then I lived with an actor for a wee while. So see the first night, especially the fucking intensity of a lockdown, the first night in the flat, any noise, I was like, ah, who the fuck? I've got a hammer beside my bed as well.
Actually?
Aye.
Why?
I've always kept a hammer beside my bed, mate. Maybe I shouldn't say that on the podcast, but my next door neighbour's been robbed a few times, and I'm like, fuck that, I'm getting a hammer. For Amazon, it was only £3. I've never actually used it on anything. Never. I'm not saying I've used it on a person.
Never put a nail in the wall with it?
Aye. I've not hung up a photo, but aye. It's weird. It's weird as fuck.
Aye, mate. It takes you a wee while to get used to the noises of a place. Like there'll just be certain like wee creaks and bumps and stuff that happen in the night.
Aye.
Your boiler clicking on. You're like, ah, what the fuck was that? And you're like,
Aye.
oh, it's a fucking boiler. I'm alright. I'm not about to get murdered.
A gas cooker or no, man. I've always had electric, mate. So gas was like, had my dinner, and then obviously because I'm fucking mentally unwell, 10 minutes later I'm like, I'm going to die in my sleep tonight, man. That's gas. There's gas leaking in that cooker. And then I had a candle lit, and I'm like, if the gas was leaking, would that not blow the flat up because the candle's on? Fuck it, I'm moving back in with my dad, man. Fuck this.
Back pure. They'd stop the door and you just run in pure. What's up? There was a gas cooker. Remember, got to Spain when I was years ago and meeting an old guy, and he kept on talking about gas cookers, and I was like, what's he talking about? And I'm like, hookers?
Aye.
And I was like, alright, aye. I didn't get that.
Gas cookers. Also dangerous.
Also could blow you up
Aye.
if you light
Aye.
a candle in front of them.
What else has happened this week?
Well, how was your gigs at the weekend?
Gigging at the Stand Comedy Club in Glasgow with, you know how it was weird last week? I was bigging up Raymond Mayans and Susie McCabe. I ended up fucking gigging with them Friday, Saturday.
You manifested that, mate.
That is crazy, isn't it? See, and even Raymond was saying this, saying all the years that you do stand up, you never get a weekend like that. That is like, what did he say? It was like the Glaswegian Champions League final or something.
Right.
Like,
Who was on the bill?
Raymond was a compere. I was opening. Those lads were.
What'd you think of that?
What'd you think of that? We're down the middle slot, and Susie was headlining,
Right.
and it was fucking incredible, mate.
Aye, that is a good lineup, mate.
And
Good crowd.
An amazing crowd. Friday was more enjoyable because I got my keys for the flat. I was just buzzing.
And also, you thought I was coming on Saturday and I didn't come, so.
Aye, because you ruined it.
I know, mate.
You abandoned
I ruined
me.
your night.
You abandoned
It's not
me.
my fault. I was out for dinner with my mate and his missus, and they couldn't get a ticket because it was sold out. Too popular.
You abandoned me
I know.
like a bastard in a basket in the middle of the desert. You don't know that film?
No.
There will be blood.
No. Sorry.
Very specific film reference.
Right, okay.
Daniel Day-Lewis.
I
Bastard in a basket.
know the movie, I've never seen it.
Bastard in a basket.
I'm not a big fan of Daniel Day-Lewis.
I was getting stupid towards the end. Remember, he was like fucking sewing dresses and stuff, and The Dressmaker, I think it was called, and he won a fucking Oscar for it. And you're like, right, you're just giving him Oscars for fucking.
And he does.
Aye.
Take a shite in a plate and everybody would be like, bravo.
Aye. He'd keep a hammer beside his bed and he'd get an Oscar. Fucking.
He's he's great in Gangs of New York.
Yes.
Although, you know, cancel culture, Last of the Mohicans wouldn't fucking go the day, man.
Crazy.
Mental, man. Amount of white folk in that place.
Aye.
The Native American, I don't know what the proper term is now for.
I think it's
Native Americans.
Must be Native American.
Indigenous Americans or something like
Yeah.
that, maybe. That's crazy, man. You think about just a white guy, like,
Yeah.
mental.
It's like back in the day though, like Marx Brothers films. Like I love Marx Brothers, and I watched one recently, and Native Americans, they never had. It was Go West. It was called, right? Cowboys and Indians, and they never had Indian actors. It was white Americans that were blacked up, essentially.
Aye.
And I never even noticed that. And I was like, holy fuck. But I know that the Marx Brothers won't be racist because they're Jewish. And it's back then as well, 100 years ago.
Aye.
Like,
It's the industry that's at fault for that, eh? It's
Yeah.
no like, I mean, they didn't used to use black people for roles for black people. They used to just get guys to black up.
it's crazy, isn't it?
Aye, it's weird, man. It's so weird. Same way, like, have you ever seen that cinematic epic Dragon, the Bruce Lee story?
Yes.
So shite, but see the bit where they're in like the movie theatre and it's Mickey Rooney and he plays like an Asian guy
Oh my
and he's
God.
so offended by it and you're
Yeah.
like, you can understand, man.
Yeah.
Gives you that sort of point of reference, you know what I mean?
But that was disgraceful. That Mickey Rooney performance was disgraceful. I mean, I know I've seen actors playing different race, but that was racist. That was flat out racism, like cartoon like, horrible. Just how the fuck did Mickey Rooney know that he can't do that?
Money, mate. You know, I don't know if he's wrote it or whatever, but that's just the money talks, isn't it?
Fair
I quite like the satire, the Robert Downey Jr.'s character in Tropic Thunder, where they totally just rip the cunt right out of that, man.
One of the greatest comedies ever made.
Brilliant, isn't it,
Ever.
mate? Why is it so underrated?
I don't think it is, mate.
Well,
It
I
can't
mean,
be.
in the sense of like in popular culture, it never gets mentioned. You don't hear, you know what I mean? Like you don't hear people talking about it and being like, "That's a classic," and it is a fucking classic. Like every performance in it's a belter.
A lot of people, that's one of those films that reappears every 4 years and people try to cancel it, but you can't cancel it. It's so funny.
Aye, because it's the thing that people would try to cancel it for. The movie's taking the piss out of that thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like the Ben Stiller character's supposed to be like the pure. He's had the franchise like eight movies of this shite movie, and then you get the sort of in the closet gay black guy that's like trying to be pure super butch and super macho, and fucking Jack Black's character's trying to hide his addiction behind like a sort of squeaky clean comedy kids movie, and then Robert Downey Jr.'s like blackfaced and trying to be pure, doing all the pure stereotypes. I think it's hilarious, mate. Even fucking Steve Coogan's character, like the pure zany director, and he ends up blowing himself up. No,
And the wee cameo from Tom Cruise, which was funny
he's
as fuck.
fucking brilliant in that, by the way.
He's funny as fuck. What was the character that Ben Stiller played in that? He was like the goofy brother or something.
Simple Jack.
Simple Jack, aye. I might watch that again tonight, man.
Aye, it's one of the movies, mate. See if it's on and you put it on. It's one of the movies that, see if somebody was to say to me, do you want to watch Tropic Thunder? And we didn't have a conversation about talking about what we've just done. I'd be like, ugh, no, I've seen it so many times. But see if you put it on, you're like, fuck me. Or if you talk about it, you're like, I want to watch that.
Yeah.
It's so good.
The Jack Black character, I read somewhere that he kind of was inspired with Chris Farley for that. Hence the blonde hair and all that type of stuff. But I don't know if that's 100% true. But I think it might be.
Aye, the wee bit that goes to the movie, that kind of looks like they've tried to make him look a wee bit like Chris
See
Farley.
when he's tied to the tree and he's like, I'll milk you for drugs. Every drop.
Aye, he's pure geek to me. He's jelly beans.
Aye. I mean, I'm saying, like, you know, you try to be a good person and you do this and that. I'd take a wank off Jack Black. In real life, never mind that character. I'd do both. Would you?
Take a wank off of Jack Black. Probably. Aye. Clout.
You've got to. I need to talk about this as well. How long have we done, by the way?
Half an hour, mate.
Half an hour. We need to talk about Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle was doing a performance the other night. I think it was Hollywood Bowl or something. Big, massive venue. And a random punter jumped onto the stage and tried to rugby tackle him. Therefore, his security team took the guy backstage and kicked the living shit out of the guy. So, what about that?
I know, mate. Well, I heard that Chappelle got a couple of digs into him as well. Like,
Yep.
gave him a bit of a doing. Do you think this? I know that everybody will probably be saying this. Do you think this is stemming for the Will Smith stuff?
Yes. I also sadly think that was going to happen to Dave Chappelle, no matter what. But I feel like the Will Smith stuff gave it the green light. But I don't think it will happen again because I don't know if you have seen the picture of this guy getting put into an ambulance. He get fucking destroyed, man. Like absolutely destroyed.
Is there a picture of him getting put into an ambulance?
Aye, mate, if you Google it, you'll see it on your phone.
Right.
He's handcuffed to a fucking stretcher, getting put into an ambulance. See the amount of memes that are jumping about saying like, this is what happens when you bite into a wasp hive and stuff. The guy is absolutely fucked. He get destroyed. And, you know, I don't know the reason why he did it. I think it might have been the trans situation.
Right.
But you never jump on stage and attack a comedian. We're not on Twitter. This isn't social media. It's the real world. You go past that line, you get fucked up. And you get fucked up.
That's a good point, mate. Like, I think it's an inevitability that these like sort of attitudes that we do see, like the sort of keyboard warrior, leads into real life where people think that there's no physical ramifications for what I do here. I can do what I like.
Yeah.
Especially like with the culture of people filming everything and things going viral. Maybe even that guy could have been like, I'm a comedian, and that was a bit, you know what I mean? Like where's the line? Like, you know, like that type of thing. But I think that's an interesting point that you've made there. I just went straight to Will Smith. I never really thought about this sort of like anonymity and invincibility that people feel that they've got on social media, maybe bleeding into somebody like think that they can say or they see it. You do see it. You see people getting knocked the fuck out, like on New York subway for being racist, and I think they're emboldened by the confirmation bias that they get when people are kind of like, I am the same on the internet, but they're not going to fucking defend you physically because they're all shite bags. These are all scum and shite. So if you want to fucking start flapping your gums. But I couldn't believe it when I seen it, man. I was like, fuck, but I think you're right because of the subjects that Chappelle's tackling, and not particularly well. I think it was always going to get something was going to happen, wasn't it?
Yeah. But it's crazy to see that, isn't it? It's a weird world, weird times that we're living in. I feel like a lot of people that's probably going to open a door. You'll see a lot of shit like that happening now.
I hope not.
Yeah.
I hope that's the end of it because the guy get fucking dealt with. But, I mean, you're going to end up needing people at the front of the stage at comedy gigs, aren't you?
Aye. The world seems poisoned right now, doesn't it? Just like, I know it's a comedy podcast, right? But the abortion stuff as well, like how that's in America. Right. You're smarter than me. Can you talk about this and explain what's happening?
Aye, basically, like there's the way that American law works, and I'm not particularly smart on this subject. I'm not that particularly clued up in it, but they have a thing. I think we've got it as well, but it's called like legal precedents, and they do the thing like Road versus Wade. So that's the law. So it's like a precedent that's set in court. So Road versus Wade was the first time that somebody won the right to have a legal abortion. So that becomes a legal precedent within sort of human rights. So if there's a precedent there, like let's just say that you're female or I'm female and I want to have an abortion, and it's already been through the court system, because the precedent's there, you can't really the guy can't take the woman to court to stop her having an abortion because they're like, well, we've been through this and the woman won, so she's won. It's like, that's it. It's like, we've done that. And this is the same case. So that's what Roe v. Wade. And they're trying to rescind that. And it's happening in places like Texas. Racist.
Proper Christian.
Proper right-wing, Republican, fucking fire and brimstone Bible fuckers, man. That's what this is coming down to.
This is like, you know how you get 200 different versions of Christianity? This is like the wee church Christian stuff that's
Yeah.
no really.
This is the people that believe that the dinosaur bones were put there to test them.
Yeah.
They've added up all the years in the Bible and they think that we'll know at the year 2021, we're at the year like
Aye.
200.
Ironically, none of them get their role.
Well, they reproduce somehow, like fuck's sake, because they're here and they're
Aye.
reproducing more idiots
Yeah.
as well. But there was a video yesterday, mate, of them going, "What's the alternative to abortion?" Or like adoption, and then the guy was like, "Would you adopt?" And the woman was like, "Oh, well, no." And it's like, so what you doing here?
Aye.
You fucking moron. What's more disturbing is they're here as well, mate. See if you go down to the Queen Elizabeth or the Royal Infirmary,
Yep.
to the bit where they do the abortions, you can see them at the other side of the road. So they're not just in America, they're here.
Yeah.
This is a movement that's happening, and I think it's global
Aye.
because there's idiots everywhere. But mate,
Yeah.
how dare anybody tell anybody what to do with their fucking body, mate?
Yeah.
I can't get my head around it.
I think that's the only good thing that's came out from Twitter is, as a young guy, I think I'm still young, I've been able to look at tweets of females sharing their experience through this and why it shouldn't happen. And from a male point of view, that some of the stuff has never entered my mind. It's never just as simple as you have sex and you get pregnant. Obviously, I know about like assaults and all that stuff, but they're just talking about like, you know, in these mad Christian countries, how your family would just fucking dismiss you. So it's not just, it's everything that comes with it as well. Like there's so much more attached to it.
It's not just the law. The law's there to enable, but then there's a load of shame and
Yeah.
people get hounded and, like you're saying, they get fucking blackballed at their family and all sorts of shit, man.
Yeah. See, when I was young, when I was a young guy, I was in high school. I was pro-life when I was younger. I was proper, my head was fucking fried.
Mate, I had a partner get an abortion without my knowledge when I was 19, and I went all indignant about it. Like, that was my way in tea and blah, 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 and I've just grew up.
Yeah.
I've just grew up and realised that, fuck, could you imagine if that had fucking actually come into existence? Like, Jesus fucking Christ, man, I was not ready for that. She made the right choice, like, and and I would fight for her right to make that choice now as an adult. At the time, when it hits you personally and you're upset, I'm not crying, by the way, I've just got a frog in my throat, I don't know what the fuck's going on.
That's
Just
the
'cause I'm
drugs
not-
kicking in, keep drinking the water.
That's my edible.
Aye.
I am, like, you get upset, you get a bit annoyed, and you think, oh, you know, obviously you take that sort of stance, but it was so immature, mate, and it was just so pathetic that I look back on it and I'm like, I can't believe that I tried to guilt, like, I actually can't believe that I did it. But I suppose I went through a period of life where I was kind of pro-life, and I can remember sitting down chatting to somebody about this, maybe about 2 years after that had happened, and was just like, but what about me? And they were like, what about you? And I was like, well, that was my Wayne. And they were like, no, but one, it wasn't a Wayne, it was a fetus. And I was like, right. And they were like, and two, she had to carry it for 9 months. And what age was she? Like 19. Like, okay. So you're wanting to have you want to have the choice, but she's not to have the choice. She needs to have your say so on what goes on. And I was just kind of like, click, 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 as everything just kind of clicked into place in my mind and went, oh, I've let my emotions get the better of me in that situation. So I'm there with you, mate.
I liked what you said there. You grew up, because when I was younger, I was like, I want to have a family. I want to have 7 Waynes, you know, when I was like 12, 13, 14. But then when I actually became a young guy, and then I started to have female friends, and unfortunately you hear some terrible stories about assaults and all that type of stuff. And even if you don't know people personally, you always hear about my cousin's pal, or you know somebody that's needed to do this.
That's the key to this, mate. What you just said there is the perspective for the people that it affects, know the perspective of the people that it doesn't affect one bit.
Aye.
Like, I remember a similar sort of situation, and it was like a younger guy. So I appreciate that he hadn't grown up yet. Like you're saying, that's the sort of thing, you grow out of these stupid ideas that you have. And he was like, talking about like sexual assault and just being like, it's not that big a deal, and I don't know anybody. And we were in a room at like a house party, and there was like 3 couples, and I just went, okay, let's take a fucking survey. There's 3 women in this room. How many of you have been groped? All of them were like me. And I was like, so there you go, mate. You're talking absolute fucking shite, and one of them's your bird. So you know somebody's been sexually assaulted.
Wow.
And he was pure, fuck, man. Do you know, you're just like, don't stop being an idiot, mate. Like, nearly every, I don't think I've ever met a woman that's had hands put on them by a guy unconsensually.
Yeah.
So,
or some type of assault. Like wolf whistling and somebody fucking staring at you on a bus. It's all creepy as fuck. I've got a niece, right, and she comes up to my mum's and like she's like, there was a guy in the bus just like staring at me and stuff. I'm like, God, man, see, when I was 14, 15, I never got any of that shit. It seems like they get it every single day. Like, you can't, if you're a woman, you can't even go to the fucking gym.
Aye, absolutely. I mean, I think men can't understand it, because if I was 14 and a 20-year-old woman was battering into me, I'd love it. You know what I mean? We've got a different thing. That's not all men, by the way. That's like a pure brutal mass generalization, but we won't have that perspective. I think that's why we struggle. I think that's why men struggle to come to terms with that idea that their sexual attention to females is they don't want it, because if they could get it in return, they'd be like loving it. You know what I mean? So I think it's hard for them to relate, but you've just got to take on face value what they say. How did that make you feel? You know what I mean? Like, my partner's been sexually assaulted multiple times, like nightclubs, guys putting hands on them, touching their arse, touching their tits, like, it's fucking out of order, mate.
Even touching, by the way, touching in general, mate.
That's classed as
like,
sexual assault.
Don't fucking touch me.
Aye, that's classed as it's like physical contact in a sexual way that's unconsensual.
Yeah.
Like, so that to me is an assault. It makes a person feel threatened.
Yeah.
And makes them feel intimidated. You know what I mean? Same as like guys that follow women down the road late at night. Like, what are you doing? Yeah. What are you fucking doing? What are you hoping to achieve? Do you think they're going to be like, oh, please? Yeah, let's go back to mine. You fucking creepy bastard. Yeah. No, you're just going to get pegged as a fucking weirdo.
Aye. Knocked out. I'm glad that we had that discussion there, because it's about growth and it's about learning. I'll go into the next story to make things a bit more positive. Okay. I've got a funnier kind of version of being personal story of being I don't know, sexually assaulted, I think.
Okay.
Me and my mate went to Portugal with his mum and dad when we were 13, and they were renting a villa, and it was like this rich South African family that was giving us the villa.
Right.
So it was a woman, her mum and dad, and her husband was like this oil fucking tycoon guy.
Right.
So stupid money. And me and my mate, the woman that owned the villa, like, just fucking was a creepy bastard, essentially.
Right, what age was she?
Right, so me and my mate were like 13 at the time. She must have been about in her 40s, late 40s, right?
Right, okay.
Young guys going through puberty, never kissed, never been with anybody in their lives, right? And we went out for a meal one night and she was piling us full of fucking drink and stuff, and she just randomly grabbed my dick and did that in front of my mate. I bet you he's got a big fat dick to go along with his big fat belly. And me and my mate were like just burst out laughing. But like the whole holiday she just piled us full of booze, touchy-feely, nothing really happened. But there was a weird thing. She took us back to her mum and dad's one night, right? I can't even believe I'm saying this on a podcast. And she put her house gown on, or her house coat, and she was like flashing her tits and stuff. And me and my mate were totally, I hate to admit it, we fell in love with her, right? We hung around her like puppies the whole fucking holiday. See, a couple of years ago, about fucking 3 years ago or something, right? My mate was moving out of his man and dad's house, and he was going through old photos, and we fucking loved her. Like, I remember audibly saying in Portugal, oh my god, she's so fucking beautiful. I can't believe how beautiful she is. He was going through photos of the holiday and he sent me a picture, and I honestly can't believe how fucking stinking a shite she was. She was absolutely stinking of shite.
Well, she was molesting 13-year-old boys. I don't imagine she was beautiful. Like,
Oh, mate.
wow.
But I'm like, I remember thinking that she was beautiful. And looking at that photo, she looked like a fucking witch or something, man.
You had the first ever beer goggles on, mate.
Oh,
wow.
So
that's a crazy story, mate. Can't believe that. You bet he's got a fat cock to go with his fat belly.
Aye. Imagine hearing that as a wee guy, you've never been kissed, and somebody says that to you. It totally fucking blew my mind.
He's going to say
no wonder
that.
I'm fucking wanking to the ceiling. Also, he nearly drowned that holiday. I saved his fucking life.
Really?
But we went down to the beach, we had a couple of beers, and we were just fucking about down the beach. And it was the waves, the tide was coming in, and this crazy fucking tide came in and literally swept him off his feet, sunk, like dragged him in. The tide dragged him in, and I had to fucking run down and get him. I couldn't even swim, and I jumped in and got him.
Did you?
The two of us were like walking back to the villa, like, what the fuck? Like, total shock that just like that, man.
Fuck's sake, man. Wow. No way, man. You've saved somebody's life, mate.
I know. And I've been molested, so.
Falling in love with 40-year-olds at 13. What was her name?
I can't even remember, mate.
Was that the first female to touch your dick?
Aye.
Mad stinking Portuguese bird.
It was because she took us back to the mum and dad's flat, and they had a wine cellar. And she was cracking open bottles of wine that were like £200-300. Me, this woman, and my mate. That was it. I remember my mate was sitting with a full bottle of wine and like drinking the wine. And
surprised nothing happened, mate. To be perfectly honest, I'm surprised that she didn't fucking take it further, because usually they would. But that'll be a thing, man. Having like we guys be like wee puppy dogs around her, do you know what I mean? That'll be totally like a kink or whatever.
Yeah.
But total paedophile, man. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that's crazy, isn't it?
Aye, mate. Wow. Insane.
You want to go to Portugal?
Aye, mate. Get me that 40.
I'll try and get that 40, man. It's one of the ones, but it's kind of like, see, like years after it happened, my mate was like at his wife now. Oh, mate, tell her the story about Portugal. And I told her, and she was like, what? I was like, what, is that no funny? She's like, no, you get assaulted. You get assaulted off an adult. I was like, all right. It felt funny at the time. I was like total in fucking shock and denial of probably being fucking assaulted. I was more hurt about her calling me fat.
I think it's different, mate. I genuinely do. Like, I think it's different for guys and what it is for girls in like that setting.
Yeah.
If you don't see it as being sort of traumatic, then it's not traumatic. It's only the trauma only happens in the person's mind, really.
Yeah.
Some people are in terrorist situations, bombs go off, they've got no lasting impact. They're just like the guy in here the other night that was saying that he worked in a sub club and 5 guys pretending to be the IRA robbed it, and he was like, my missus, our pal, pretty much everybody there was traumatized, and he was like, I didn't give a fuck. He's
wow.
Like, he's like, I heard the accent, but they'll know the IRA, they're not going to do it, and they're going to get the money out of the safe, they're going to fuck off, and that's what happened. And he's like, I didn't care.
So these 5 fucking idiots ran in saying that they were the IRA?
Probably with a pure shite, like pure, we're the IRA, you know, like pure shitey Irish accent. Like,
why would the IRA rob the sub club?
Fuck knows, mate. Just a way to cover up their identity, I think.
Do you think it was just 5 guys out there not on Eckies?
No, he said it was like after hours. They would have like lock-ins and shit, you know what I mean? Like the staff would sit and have a bevy, and the door get chapped, and they opened the door and it was guys in ski masks with shotguns.
Holy fuck.
And he was like, I just didn't give a fuck. But the other people that were there were pure traumatized. So I think trauma just is how the person sees it.
Yeah.
They've obviously thought they're going to kill us, and so they've had, you know, traumatic he's been sitting there like, they're not going to do it. And they're like that sort of like, they're going to get the money and get to fuck. They're here for the money, you know what I mean?
Just give them the money. It's only money at the end of the day, isn't it?
Give the money.
So how long have we done now?
50 minutes.
50 minutes. Let me just glance over my notes. That's no pure dodgy talking about me getting felt up, is it?
Mate, it happened and it's your fucking story. So there's nothing nobody could be coming back and being like, you shouldn't be telling that in a podcast. It's your fucking story, mate. Like, if it happened, it happened, mate.
Aye.
It reminds me of Meet the Fockers. You seen that?
Aye.
That's the second one, isn't it? Where he goes and it turns out that he's been shagging his babysitter, like the mad Spanish woman, like the mad Mexican woman.
I don't know why I've noted this down, but I've been listening to a lot of podcasts recently, and I just want to give you a recommendation. A guy called Mark Normand and Sam Morrow.
The one about the cocktails?
Yes.
Aye, mate. I've watched it a couple of times. What's it called?
It's called We Might Be Drunk.
Aye, mate. Mark Normand, I've mentioned it so many times because I'm so impressed by him. I'm not a big fan of his comedy. I don't think he's a great comedian, but he got turned away by Netflix, Comedy Central, HBO, and he just self-funded and put his stand-up hour on YouTube and made like $250,000 off it.
Amazing.
Get like fucking 40 million views or whatever.
That's amazing.
And launched his actual career because he was a bit of a journeyman, like just one of these guys. But Sam Morrow's his stand-up's good. Like,
two amazing comedians that I never realised worked together that I enjoyed separately, and I just discovered their podcast randomly one night, and it's the perfect chemistry. And anytime I watch a film or listen to a podcast or anything like that, I'll always give them a shout out. Obviously they're superstars, or they're on the cusp of being superstars, but very, very funny comedians, man. So I recommend that. Also, I'm going to give a shout out to a mental health charity, mate, on like suicide awareness and stuff. Brothers in Arms, they do that, don't they?
Aye, mate, aye.
You work with them?
I do their podcast.
Could you say their information if you know it?
Aye, absolutely. You can. So, Brothers in Arms Scotland are a men's suicide prevention charity, and they've got a website. They've got a whole load of stuff going on, but primarily what the day is you can go to their website, you can sign up to a free app called Thrive, and Thrive gives you mindfulness techniques, cognitive behavioural techniques, but also you can speak to a live counsellor on the app free of charge. It's literally a life-saving app, mate.
Amazing.
And Brothers in Arms fundraise to get as many licenses because Thrive are a business and it costs you money. Like, I think they get a discount because I would get Thrive through when I worked with Virgin, and so if you work for certain companies, they get you. It's that type of thing. It's very corporate, but it's a life-saving app. And Dan, Gary, Jamie, and Kieran, the guys that run Brothers in Arms, they relentlessly fundraise to get as many licenses as they can to get men and boys into this app so that it can fucking save more lives. And they've saved thousands and thousands and thousands of lives, mate. I mean, I think up to this date, they've had something like 20,000 people sign up to that app. And that's just Scotland and just men.
And you can sign up to it for free?
Yep.
I think I might be signing up.
Aye, mate. It's a good, like, do you know what I love about it? It's the type of thing that, see, if you like it, I'd be like, find a therapist. Because that's what it is. It's like digital therapy. But it can only take you so far down the journey. You need that connection between you and another person.
Yeah.
The real, like, in the room. But it's enough to save lives, mate. It's absolutely enough to get the average person, I would say, on the straight and narrow, getting out their head, and so many like good activities. And the app's great, mate. I've sat and messed about with it, you know, and obviously I'm a certified therapist, so I'm like, I recognise all this stuff. And it's all like, you know, like industry standard, so it works.
That's amazing, mate.
Works, mate.
If you are struggling or if you need help, check that out. And what do they help people that have been affected by suicide as well?
Well, I think before COVID, they did things like peer-to-peer support, and you could go along. And obviously, it doesn't matter what it is. If you're suicidal, if you know somebody that's committed suicide or whatever it might be, they accept anybody. And see, to be honest as well, I think they always say, look, see if you're a woman and you want access to this app, go and sign up and we'll give you it. But it is primarily for men because of the horrific statistics around male suicide, and especially in Scotland, as we know, is like the worst in Europe.
It's
per capita.
That's a pandemic.
Fucking right it is, mate.
Yeah.
Too right. But if you want to sign up, you go to brothersinarmscotland.co.uk, or if you search Brothers in Arms Scotland on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, they've got it all. It's all there. And there's links to take you through and get your sign in for the app and stuff.
That's amazing, mate. Well, on that note, I think we're going to wrap it up. We've done nearly an hour. I wanted to end the podcast and trying to help someone put a positive message out. Check out the Brothers in Arms podcast as well. Thank you to this week's sponsor, Argue & Co. And, check out the tours coming up and all that type of stuff. So just join us next week for episode 27. Thank you very much, everybody.
Brilliant, mate.